While the 2026 MotoGP season keeps throwing up challenging moments for Ducati, the Italian manufacturer has been quietly making a very clear statement this week about where their true priorities sit. On Monday, at the Misano World Circuit, Marco Simoncelli, experienced test rider Michel Pirro took to the track aboard the Desmos Desai GP27, the brand new 850cc prototype that Ducati has been secretly developing for months, marking its very first public appearance. Images and footage released by GP1.com captured Pirro riding a machine that looks strikingly different from the current bike, exactly in line with the major technical changes coming in the 2027 regulations. The ride height devices have disappeared completely. The aerodynamic elements are noticeably cleaner and more restrained. And hidden beneath the updated fairings is an all-new engine, smaller, lighter, and purpose-built for the next era of MotoGP, which is now less than a year away. The Desmos Desai that has secured 6 straight Constructors' Championships is being phased out, and this week the world finally caught its first real glimpse of what will take its place. I'm Seb, the creator of this channel. MotoGP runs through my veins, and every word in these videos is carefully researched and written by me. If you share the same passion for this incredible sport, make sure to hit that subscribe button so we can enjoy the ride together. Let's break down exactly what happened during Monday's Misano shakedown, what we know so far about the technical details of the GP27, who is leading its development, and how this test fits into the bigger picture involving all 5 manufacturers heading into 2027. First, it's essential to understand what this Monday session truly represented. This was not a full-scale official development test. Instead, it served as an initial shakedown, a careful first step to check that the prototype was working properly before moving into more intensive development phases. Ducati cleverly used the cover of their V2 Future Camp Academy, a single-brand racing program run by Pirro himself, to bring the new machine out onto the circuit under legitimate event conditions. Ducati's team manager Davide Tardazzi was present at Misano. Although wet weather unfortunately limited the amount of dry track time available, Pirelli also had engineers on site, supplying the prototype tires specifically being developed for the 2027 season. That means the GP27 completed its very first laps on the exact rubber that every team will be racing on when the new rules come into force. What immediately stands out about the GP27, both visually and mechanically, is how much it differs from the current Desmos Desai that fans and riders have grown so familiar with. The ride height devices and holeshot systems are entirely absent. These mechanisms, which allowed the rear of the bike to drop during launches and acceleration to improve traction and stability, are completely banned under the new 2027 regulations. Removing them fundamentally alters the character of the motorcycle. Without that rear lowering capability, the bike's starting behavior, its geometry during hard acceleration, and the way it transitions from braking into drive will all feel very different. Ducati's riders will essentially have to relearn how to get the bike off the line quickly and manage its dynamics without one of the key tools they've relied on for years. The aerodynamic package on the GP27 has also been noticeably simplified and toned down. The 2027 rules introduce several restrictions. The maximum width of the front fairing is reduced from 600 to 550. The maximum height at the rear is cut by 100, and the nose of the fairing is moved back by 50. Rear aerodynamic components are now subject to homologation for the first time, allowing only one update per season. The wild, aggressive wings and intricate tail sections that Ducati has used so effectively in recent years are being scaled back significantly in response to these limits. But the biggest transformation lies in the engine. The GP27 is powered by a brand new 850cc 4-cylinder unit, replacing the 1000cc engine that has been the standard since 2012. The maximum bore has been reduced from 81 to 75. Power output is anticipated to drop by roughly 35 horsepower, while the overall minimum weight of the bike has been lowered from 157 kg to 153 kg. The combination of a smaller, lighter engine, the removal of the hydraulic ride height systems, and the more restrained aerodynamics is expected to create a motorcycle that feels noticeably nimbler, more responsive, and easier to handle in certain situations. KTM's technical director, Sebastian Riss, recently commented that at circuits like Misano and Jerez, the new 850cc machines may not actually be dramatically slower in terms of lap times than the current bikes. He suggested that the reductions in weight and aerodynamic drag could offset a good portion of the lost horsepower, perhaps more than many people initially expected. Michel Pirot is spearheading Ducati's early development work on the GP27, and this makes perfect sense. The veteran Italian test rider has been Ducati's go-to man for testing for many years, accumulating an unmatched depth of knowledge about how the Desmostas behaves and reacts to even the smallest changes. Ducati's boss Gigi D'Allegna highlighted Pirot's importance last year, emphasizing the need to have two dedicated test riders starting from the next season. Pirot's experience and dedication make him the ideal person to carry out the heavy lifting in these early stages, mapping out the new bike's basic behavior, understanding its strengths and weaknesses, and laying the groundwork before passing a more developed version on to the next phase of the program. That next phase will involve Niccolò Bulega, the current leader of the 2026 World Superbike Championship, who has been absolutely dominating the season with 6 wins from the first 6 races. Bulega is being carefully integrated into Ducati's MotoGP project specifically for the unique strengths he brings that Pirot cannot. Most importantly, Bulega has years of experience racing on Pirelli tires in World SBK. Since the 2027 MotoGP season will see all teams switching to Pirelli rubber, an entirely new and unknown factor for everyone, having a rider who already understands how these tires warm up, how they degrade over a stint, and how they respond to different chassis setups could prove to be a significant advantage in the early development stages. Now, let's put Ducati's Misano shakedown into perspective by looking at where all 5 manufacturers currently stand in their preparations for 2027. KTM got the ball rolling first. Back in December 2025, Paul Espargaro completed the initial laps on an 850cc prototype at Jerez, making them the first manufacturer to put a 2027 spec machine on track. The paddock immediately took notice of the new engine's aggressive, raw sound, which generated real excitement about how the next generation of MotoGP bikes will sound in full race conditions. KTM also confirmed that both Espargaro and Danny Pedrosa rode the prototype without any ride height devices and handled it without major issues. Honda followed shortly after, unveiling their new RC214V prototype at Sepang in December. The Japanese manufacturer has already completed 3 separate test sessions at Sepang, the latest of which saw both Takaki Nakagami and Alex Espargaro riding together, until Espargaro's unfortunate crash, which left him with 4 broken vertebrae. Yamaha kept things extremely private, conducting their first prototype test behind closed doors at their own Iwata circuit in mid-December. This made them the only manufacturer whose initial shakedown remained completely out of public view. With Ducati's Misano outing this week, 4 of the 5 manufacturers have now confirmed they have run their 850cc prototypes. The only one still missing is Aprilia. Despite currently dominating the 2026 season, Aprilia remains the last to get their new machine on track. Within the next couple of weeks, however, all 5 factories are expected to have completed at least one shakedown with their 2027 bikes. The clearer picture of each manufacturer's progress won't fully emerge until the official Brno test in June. That will be the first time contracted MotoGP riders get their hands on the new machines and the new Pirelli tires together. That session will be closed to the media. The first fully public opportunity for all teams to run the 2027 prototypes will come at the Red Bull Ring in September, immediately after the Austrian Grand Prix. What is already evident from the Misano activity is that Ducati is approaching the 2027 regulation change with a highly organized, well-funded and carefully structured development program. They have clear timelines, defined roles for their personnel, and a logical sequence that sees Pirot handling the initial foundational work now, with Bulega stepping in from June onwards to inject his valuable Pirelli-specific knowledge. The team that has claimed 6 consecutive constructors' titles is not treating this major rule reset as a potential danger. Instead, they are viewing it as the next championship to be conquered. The big questions now are these. Will Ducati's legendary engineering strength and methodical development approach allow them to arrive at Brno with the most polished and competitive 850cc package on the grid? Or will the switch to Pirelli tires combined with the significant aerodynamic restrictions actually create a more level playing field that rival manufacturers can take advantage of? Could Niccolò Bulega's deep experience with Pirelli tires from World Superbike turn out to be a real edge in the early stages of development? Or will the specific demands of MotoGP quickly overshadow any transferable knowledge once the full testing program ramps up? And after 6 years of total dominance, does the machine that Michel Pirro rode at Misano this week signal the beginning of yet another long era of Ducati supremacy, or the start of a genuinely competitive, wide-open battle in 2027? Drop your thoughts and predictions down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this detailed breakdown of Ducati's first GP27 shakedown, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for plenty more in-depth MotoGP content and analysis.